you may not find us on your TV. Because in case you did not know, we're brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you on
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Your Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's glowing in the dark. Look at the control room. We had some lighting issue. It was totally dark in here. Who would have thunk that in the 21st century you have to have lights so you can be on your radio? Hello, the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's glow in the dark. I won't take too much time discussing what it is that we do because you probably know, distribute and promote the use of 11-meter Class D citizen band radio and also give you a taste of what it might have sounded like back in the day when the tube radios were brand new from 1958 to 68, 78. Our tube radio collectors and operators are standing by at the ready to help us do just that with some radio check-ins. You can be anywhere at any time to stop by and say hello if you're in the Central Valley of California in the DX zone of local ground wave. Stop by at 27085, say hello, bring your tube radio. Also, oldtuberadio.net, where there's a way to listen to the audio portion from Channel 11, and you can click on a box and it takes you to a video, which is what's happening right there. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. Before I go any further, I know there are some stations that need to get checked in and checked out. Some of you have already said hello, radio, and we will get to you in a moment. But who needs an early check-in before we get started? Over.
24 checking in.
Okay, 24, I hear. Thanks, Joseph.
93 STD would like an early check-in there, Dennis, please.
All right, STD 93 out there in beautiful Clovis or somewhere near it. We got you checked in.
Thank you, sir. Have a great night. Good night, everybody.
And 195, Jim, I will get you checked in. I find the number and sounding good. Thanks for stopping by.
How about 82? Can 82 have an early check-in?
Yeah, 82. We'll get 82 checked in as well. Over.
All right. Thank you, Dennis. Have a good night. We might make it back.
Okay, I'm trying to wonder why I have no... Why everybody is not showing up on the S meter. I think we're okay here. I heard 61, Mr. Copenhagen, and there's a host of others coming up. It's weird how you can set everything up hours in advance, and then when you sit down in the air chair, some of it might still be working. And 650 as well. All right, everything looks good. Let's get on our way. I'm going to try and check in with the gang over at Old Radio Night. I think they're still on. Looks like they're having a party over there. JT's got the cocktail glasses, so we will stop by in just a few moments. 00. Are you around, Wayne? Over.
00, checking in.
All right, 00 is checking in. If you're playing the home game, where are we? In box number 4 for 321 2026. Thank you, sir. The 2-for-1 coupon is valid.
All right. Thank you for the 2-for-1 coupon. Break OTR.
There's the guy, the Break OTR 61 Hello Radio.
How you doing, Dennis? I was out here earlier, but I had to get some stuff off the barbecue.
All right, well, that's good. Sounds like you are ready to go. I was starting my own barbecue here with the tube, so you are checked in and continue on over.
Thank you, sir.
We're back to the shotgun microphones. I got to get everything set up here. Yeah, JT, Old Radio Night, going on right now. Always has a good mix of items of interest out there We'll be checking in with them shortly. SWL number 1, of course, has a check-in, and we'll say hello, Radio 2. SWL 2, Mr. OBP. Got a proxy check-in for SWL 3, Rob. SWL 5, Levon, is checking in from his appearance over at Old Radio Night. He might still be there, I don't know. No, he's right here. Saying hello to the welcoming everyone ever to the beginning of springtime, which it is definitely around here. I think we've been having 90-degree weather most of the week. Early check-ins also for SWL 91 Felix. I see you there. SWL 64 as well. SWL 67 Bill. SWL 69 Kenny. Let's go to SWL 7 Mr. Ed. And he's checking in. Right on my video screen. Mr. Ed, one of the many net controllers to sit in the air chair here in the 40 years of the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 9 out in Sanger, Mr. Dirt Dog 982.
How about it? This is Dirt Dog 982 checking in.
982, sounding good from the big Sanger town. Thanks for jumping in front of the big radio tonight and checking in with the Old Tube Radio Network. We'll see you next time. Over.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Dirt Dog 982 with a big signal here into net control tonight. Speaking of big signals, writing in from northern Idaho on the Dolphins, it's SWL 10 and 30 checking in. Hello, Chrissy. I don't know if we'll have some conditions tonight. Sometimes when we get the warmer weather, despite having bad solar conditions, we might get the sporadic use, so stay tuned. Stay tuned to a DX station near you. Out in Foreland, Kilowatt Romeo 4, Hotel Tango Uniform. Hello. Thanks for jumping in here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. One Space Ghost also stopping by. You don't have to have any special numbers or any list to do that. Like this guy, SWL 11. Now, he's got a lot of special stuff. Maybe not as much as SWL 12, Dapper Dan, but he's in a close second. So Dan's looking good. Mr. Cornbread, Dapper Dan looking good. I feel dapper. They turned on some type of, what do we got, the air conditioner? No, some type of fan is blowing through the control room here, and the breeze feels good. Let's try Thanks Dan and Dapper Dan. SWL 13. Looking around, the Echo link is up. The crossband link is up. The Jingle Singers. Charles shaking his head. What's with the Jingle Singers? Are they off? They got a weekend off? So what are we doing for the Jingle Singers tonight? I thought I heard them in there. All right, well, the alternate Jingle Singers that are... Yeah, 23 Skidoo gets those for us. They're associated with Espresso Trucking Company, I think. That may not be a good thing. Let's go back out to Sangertown for SWL 14.
Hey, good evening, Dennis, and all the other SWNLs. 14 checking in from Sanger.
Sounding good from Sangertown. We put the X in the square, and if you are around when we're glowing in the dark, we've got a spot for you.
Appreciate that, and I intend to be.
All right, somebody way out there. There's somebody way out there, but I did not copy. Oh man, anybody get a copy on that? I know you're there. Somebody was checking in from somewhere. Well, we'll get you. Don't go away. SWL 15, Hans, who he's right there. Of course he's up. It's the Old 2 Radio Network. It's an early Sunday morning. Alpha 173. doing what he does best.
Break OTR.
The Break OTR, go ahead.
Do we have an SWL in Washington?
I don't know. Somebody could be visiting. I mean, who visits Washington? 78, maybe? I'm not sure. We might. You never know.
I thought I heard him say Washington.
Okay, maybe there's somebody close visiting out there in Washington.
That station was checking in from Chowchilla, over.
Oh, okay, beautiful Chowchilla. Yeah, I'm going to have the guys that are north of Herndon Avenue help me out on that one. All right, thanks.
Sorry, said 564 Chowchilla, Dennis.
Okay, yeah, I could hear him, but I've got a little bit of enough static. So 564 Chowchilla. I'm surprised that you are hearing net control. And we've got a lot of stations that have decent receivers. So hello, radio. If you're watching us on the video, point the antennas this way. Yeah, someday we'll be able to do likewise. But thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. All right, 73. Thanks for hanging in there. Let me go over to, is this the page? There it is. We were checking in SWL 15. Hans is sitting right there in front of the Radio Shack, front of the radio room, the golden microphone, and all the great HF stuff, waiting for a break to get here to the West Coast. Nice, clean Radio Shack. I like the map. You got to have an analog map just in the background that you can stick a pin in or something. So good stuff. Back to where are we at? Test control. The Old Tube Radio Network. Directed net roll call. I'm looking for my chart. It's here somewhere. I know it is. Charlie's already checked in. SWL 16 right behind the monitor. Got everything set up. Thanks for the lighting. Looks good. We had something that was out of whack, or as Greg would say, something was cattywampus. You got to be an old guy to know what that means, and so we got the lightings fixed, I think. And Richard, let me get you checked in, because I don't know where you are, well, I know where you are. You're in Wild Wildemar. Wow, 92. Yeah, it's going to be 83 tomorrow, so you guys are getting, maybe it's coming, the heat is coming up from Mexico or something. Yeah, the spring has definitely turned into summer. 16 says perfect lighting. It was until I stepped in the picture. Let's go to SWL 17. Jake from State Farm. What band? Is there a band? And what channel are we on? The band would be your 11-meter band, 27 megacycles, and the channel would be 11, which is 27.085 in the Central Valley of California. There is no long skip there. The Hawaii came in for a little bit, but you had to be, one of those multi-digited watt guys to get through. But I'm hopeful that we might get some sporadic e-skip. We've got some stations in the west and the northwest that are listening in. So yeah, if you're in the Pacific Northwest, listen into Channel 11. Let's go on to SWL 18. Mikey said to check him in from Facebook, which I will do. SWL 19, Chet is right over there. You see me occasionally looking around, but the cue cards are there, impeccable. Looks like they you got the front office to pop for another little magic marker, a little Sharpie or something. It looks good. Chet says if you can't read it, it's your fault. Okay, let's go to SWL 20. And I do believe that Harvey said he would be listening from afar, at least for the first part of the net. So let's see who's out there listening. Hello, Fresno, Lithonia, Georgia, Lawrence, Kansas, our technical crew. Thanks to Frodex, it's kind of keeping this thing on the air with the Nixie tubes and the clocks and stringing it all together, but it's working. Champlin, Minnesota. Watonga, Oklahoma. Boy, there's some new places, new faces out there. Marion, Illinois. And Angola, New York. What are you doing in the mezzanine? You're writing really large so I can see the cards. All right. Well, Harvey, you're checked in. SWL 21. I'm marking it in, and I'm heading over. I don't know what your delay is, JT, but I'm heading over to your page now, and I'm listening for the worldwide check-in. We'll be bringing it up, so we're standing by.
I bleed over city now.
There they are. That's what's going on. Looks like they're in concert tonight. Up there listening. They're on Channel 18, Channel 20. So they're all over the place. They're looking for Skip That Isn't There. Ham Radio Lady, hello. Thanks for joining us, and it was a pleasure to catch you on the wasn't really a contest, I don't think, special event station.
Station is a base station. It doesn't matter what you have.
I was looking to see. I thought maybe I downloaded some audio from that. We'll look for that in a little bit. All right. Well, that's all.
How about a DXLand 21 or in the Carolinas 21 break?
All right. 21 is trying to get some DX out of these horrible solar conditions tonight. So we will let him continue on with that, and we'll get a report to see if he can break a hole. If somebody can break a hole in the ozone, it'll be 21. SWL 22, back to the roll call. Yeah, the YLWWA. That was good. You had a great signal into Fresno. It's always good to be in the logbook somewhere. Somebody said check Tyler in. I will do that. SWL 23, Mr. Skidoo. Are the jingle singers? He said he sent over the alternate jingle singers tonight. But I'm not sure I'm seeing them. I'm just looking to see if they've got a microphone out there. Are you guys ready to sing some jingles? I'm hoping they will for us. Okay, one more chance.
We really hate singing jingles.
Let's go to, with that, 24, Joseph checked in. Let's go way out. I know you're listening there. SWL 25.
Good evening, Dennis. That was a short and sweet jingle from the jingle singers. Anyway, 25 checking in, and if you could check in 74 too, Dennis. Thank you.
I will do that. These are the alternate jingle singers when with the jingle singers that we have come to love for the last 40 years are on vacation. This is what we get. This is who shows up. But we'll take anything. Thanks.
All right, Dennis. Yeah, that was a short and sweet one.
All right, well, I think they told me. Thanks for checking in. We'll get 74 as well. And 21, yeah, sometimes the delay, I got you on. I got the nice little party atmosphere. You were on 17, 18, 19. You were trying to stir up the DX land, of which there is none here on the West Coast. So I think you're doing well. Old Radio Night, I think, still on. But we've got you checked, and we got everybody checked in from the Wasama Swamp. So thanks for joining us. And sometimes it is really hard to go back to the future. Yeah, Neil, SWL 147 says he got in contact with a Trainwreck. I'm going to get you checked in now. And Trainwreck's out there listening. He's got a new antenna set up. He's probably going to be checking in the radio tonight. He jumped out. I was testing before the net, and Dennis Trainwreck got on, and he keyed the microphone, and DX came back immediately. So he's one of our big stations. We got a couple of them here in Fresno for DX. So good that you caught him. He's just basically a hop, skip, and a jump down the road here. So thanks, Neil. Yeah, he's Neil. He is SWL 77. Direct and net roll call. And we have a crossband. Let me get to that. KB6 GFD. Hello, radio. I've got you in there. 13 will be checked in. Over. At SWL 13. All right, SWL 13 checked in. Put the X in the square. So we left off page 2. Let's go to SWL 27.
27's checking in live from Studio G, where I have about 83 or 84 degrees, and I have Mr. Cattle Fan running tonight.
Yeah, I've got some fan. They put some type of not air conditioning, but some type of circulation going on here tonight. I think right now it's outside. It's below 80, but you know how it is. Studio G sometimes can warm up when you turn on the big lights and the tubes. You are sounding good, sir. Good to hear you on the airwaves, and we've got you checked in as always on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
All right, Dennis. Thanks for the check-in, and maybe we'll talk to you next week. KI6QL.
All right, 73 from KB6 GFD. SWL 27 live on the Crossband Radio. Preparing for our summer heat, which should be happening in months from now, but it's happening now. SWL 28. Gary, I bet you guys had a much nicer day because you get a little Delta breeze if that was happening. Looking for a volunteer to wear a bunny costume on Easter. That's usually my thing I do here because my size doesn't change, and so the bunny costume always fits. So is that how you get out of it? You say, I can't fit into the bunny costume anymore? Come to the green room for a fitting. I know it's going to fit. Just count me in. And a banana shake, okay. I like bananas, but I'm not big when you put them into something. It just becomes too much banana. Thank you, Gary. SWL 29 has got a check-in. SWL 30, of course, Northern Idaho, listening in and looking. What was the part? Was the part you need for the sewing machine? Is that what it was? Looking for a part. You got the Robin and the Browning radio standing by. Yeah, Neil, no, that's the handle. But typically, when you get on to skip, at any time, you will get a train wreck. But 1017 is our local train wreck, who will get you to your destination. What do they say? What did Donovan used to say? Fly Trans-Love Airways, get you there on time. Let's go to SWL 31. Robert and Teresa in Hendersonville. If you are listening, you are checked in. If you're watching in the future or the past, you are also checked in. SWL 32. And Robin was working on a project. Working on some furniture refinishing. I've done cabinet refinishing. So the main thing is 40 years ago, you had to be careful of all the, VOCs and whatever it was that you were stripping the paint off. Now, maybe not so much, but still keep ventilated out there. And if you watch the replay, notice that you are checked in and good job on you and Pam getting the item together. Maybe you'll find an old radio desk, an old oak radio desk you can put together and do all that. Northern Minnesota, Sheerluck Ohms listening in. making sure the L2 Radio Network does what it's supposed to do. Let's check in some radios. We will do that. SWL 33, myself and the others are checking in now. Likewise, we're saying hello radio to Mr. Fiedler, Jimmy, and Railroader, and Captain Chaos. Let's go to SWL 35. That is Mr. Bill up in beautiful Cheyenne, Wyoming, where I'm sure it's got to be. It's got to be not so cool Cheyenne anymore. Now that the winds are over. SWL 36 is right there. Ken is checking it. Thanks, Ken, UDX 111. Let me make it official by clicking this. And it says you are checked in. Well, it takes a while. Who is Wolfman Radio? I remember listening to XERB when Mr. Wolfman was alive, coming into Los Angeles from across the border with the 100,000 watt radio station, just the other side of KNX. SWL 37, hello radio.
SWL 37 here. Good evening, Dennis.
And good evening. I was checking for my water. It's way over there. You are sounding good, sir, so thanks for jumping into the Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay. Yeah, I just had to look down there. It was going real low. I had to turn it up a tiny bit. But anyway, thank you for checking in. Good to hear you.
All right, it is good to be heard. Thanks for stopping by once again on your Old Tube Radio Network.
Have a good evening.
Out in Byron, SWL 38. What's the temp out in Byron? I'll get you checked in. No relays for Sam. I don't even hear Australia tonight. SWL 39. Shortwave listener 40, who may or may not be at the air chair. He's on a project. He's on some mission. And Neil said XERB. There was a couple of stations like XERF, but XERB, that's when I remember, was in Rosarita Beach in Baja. So it wasn't that far away from where I was in Southern Cal. 85. All right, Sam. Well, that's like it was here. In Steve Areno, the Bob and Steve show. The limos are going. No, the limos were doing good this week. We had some special St. Patrick's Day thing going on at the school, and so of course the big red limo. Where is that big red limo? The big red limo. That's it. Was ready to go, taking the kids to the various festivities. There is some other function going on tomorrow. I'm not privy to what it is, but they were out in the past the carport. You can see it out there, washing things up and vacuuming things out. So that will be ready to go. But he says there's no antenna. I think there's probably some. Bob was a smart guy, so he's probably got some loop mag antenna up there on the top that's a little bit stealthy. But probably at the size of that thing will run 75 meters with no problem. Looking good in the neighborhood. And maybe they will let me ride in it tomorrow if I pitch in and help clean it. Let's go over to SWL 41, Road Dog 507. Checking in. We got to get some pictures up here. Let's go with that one. That would be good. 507 checking in. Of course, the Orange County React, serving Hudson Valley and beyond. Saying good evening to everyone, and likewise, hope you're having a great rest of the Saturday night. There's not much of it left coming up. Let's go local here. SWL 42.
Local, yeah, maybe loco, but I don't know about local. Hey. 42 and the Radio Lifer crew all here and accounted for. Thank you very much, and back to net.
Good deal. Sounding good in the neighborhood with all the new hardware and things of that nature. So it didn't take long to get up, and it looks like it's got its own little support system, which is pretty cool. Thanks for jumping in. We got you checked in.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, when me and this guy get to pushing on things, we ain't stop until it's done, because we're driven to make it happen.
Yeah, and then it all gets cleaned up, and nobody knows what they used to come there. It's like, how did that get there?
That's it.
And you just say, wasn't that always there? I don't know. All right, you are checked in. SWL 43. Shortwave listener 44. Got a note to get 360, Mr. Ray proxied in, which we will do. SWL 45. 45, we'll say hello to Paul and Kelly listening in from North Fork, no doubt. Hope you're enjoying the weather and that there isn't too much to do up there at the ranch. You know how it gets when it starts getting hot and the rain has happened. UDX 510 out of Pittsburgh, thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 46. Somebody said proxy in Arlen from Wisconsin. It was 40 meters up probably here, Wisconsin. SWL 47.
47 tried to check in on 2 meters earlier.
Let me see if he's listening. Maybe he's in a like the barbecue mode. W6EQV from KB6GFD. All right, well, you must be in a bad area. I know you're there. I can tell you're sailing, but we were getting you checked in now because 47 is up and running. Over. He's probably sitting under the barbecue. All right, but do not fret. We have you checked in 47, KB6GFD.
Thank you. 23, KJ6EQB.
All right, confirmation, 47 checked in. SWL 48. That's Sammy, got a check-in from Facebook. SWL 49. All right, the busiest guy in Tennessee, Richie. 362, thanks for stopping by. Got you checked in. The Robin looking good. I haven't checked any of the latest videos yet to see what kind of hijinks, isn't that what it's called? Hijinks and shenanigans you are up to. But I bet they're good, I suspect. Somebody says proxy Smitty and Sweet Country Mama. I will do that.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, over.
Yeah, 53 checking in there, brother.
5353, the legend. I've got you checked in, over.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks for stopping by. Let's go over to SWL 50. Out in beautiful Battle Creek, Michigan. Making sure that things didn't scroll off of my screen. Out near Sangertown, SWL 51.
SWL 51, checking in.
Sounding good, sir. 5-1. The X is in the square. And there wasn't much skip going on today, but the local stuff sounding good. So Dave is checked in. Let's go to SWL 52.
Hey, there we go. Now we have modulation. That's what happens when you're in digital mode. Thank you for tolerating my carrier for a couple of seconds. SWL 52 behind the golden microphonium, now that is routing in the correct location, and I see things moving around on the waterfall. You are sounding good in the neighborhood. In
that neighborhood. No, I know, because 52 Aaron somewhat similar to what I do here, but in a much grander scale, has the routing system for the audio going here and this internet connection. And so when you don't see the wheel meters, you just start naturally looking around to find out what button you should press. That's why when you see the quad split above my head, that's sort of my way of saying, okay, the transmitter's working, my audio's working, there's something going on output-wise at the antenna. And if I don't see that, then I might fix something. And a lot of times you'll hear the crossband come in and say, we can't hear what you're saying. And so I'll go fix it that way. But anyway, you are sounding good. Everything is great, and we've got you checked in.
Roger.
The old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. 53, Mr. Belair checked in just moments ago. Turning the page to page 354, we'll get Board Jammer checked in, and up the hill to SWL 55.
55, checking in.
Sounding good. Sounding loud and clear this week. So we've got the X and the square. Thanks.
Thank you.
And then, just for kicks, in the land of the, is it the Deodar Cedars? I've got a couple here. I've got my eye on one that was just trimmed for maybe an antenna, a clandestine antenna on the top. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and Annette. 56.
Just for kicks. I like the way you do that. That's an old Madison Avenue trick. It was good with cigarettes. Winston tastes good like a, and then you can take Salem out of the country, but you can't take the, I don't know what it was, but so I like that just for kicks. And it doesn't have a thing to do with cigarettes, I don't think. Let's go over to SWL 57. Out in central Kentucky. Who's listening? Was from Kentucky? No, it was Oklahoma, Minnesota, Kansas, Georgia, Illinois, New York, New Hampshire. Hello to our friends in Peterborough. Help me pronounce that, like this West Coast guy that doesn't know how to speak East Coastese. Next, we've got, I see Toronto. I was zooming around the SDRs last night during the auroral flutter. And the one in, was it Manitoba? Was it the only one was hearing my signal on 40 meters? The ones I usually get in British Columbia were not doing so well, so the band was a long way. Ontario CB Club, of course. They've joined us before in the SWL OTR network here. Let's go to SWL 58. I'm supposed to check in 58 because he was around. I think he was tardy last night for his appearance on Old Radio Night, or on the Ditchbanks sideband net. Yeah, I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hit on the like button today, is what Wimpy used to say. Let's go to, and I know he's ready, Uncle Hairball, SWL 59. He's got Old Radio Night in one ear on the left side and the right side, and the Old Tube Radio Network on the right side. And he never seems to, 59 never seems to get it mixed up. He always checks into the right place at the right time. And he got an early check-in tonight, actually. Had to tell him to listen to what the doctor said. He said, go to bed early. So that's what he's done. So if you're watching the replay, yes, indeed, we saw that, and hope you're feeling better. SWL 60, hello, Joe.
Hello, Dennis. Hello, all the fellas out there on the band. Doggone it, you didn't catch me asleep this time. Last week, I just checked in when I think it was the end of the show. Shame on the mess. Anyway, Dennis, SWL 60, checking in.
Sounding good. No, you've got everything hooked in and set up. And sometimes the body just says, here's what we're going to do right now, whether you approve or not. And so you just have to go along with it. So I'm glad that you are in the air chair tonight. You're sounding good.
Well, thank you much, here, Dennis, because I was wondering about that. I had to do some quick disconnect and connect. Meter didn't look right, and I wasn't getting a very good signal from you. And doggone it, right now you're on the top shelf, just like the way you always are. And I guess maybe that old Chinese food had maybe a little something in there that says, stay awake.
Yeah, until you get hungry in a half hour, and then you'll go find some more. But that's okay. You did the right thing. Got you checked in.
You'll start rolling in here in a minute with a little bit of sweet bread. It'll take care of it.
Yeah, we did the right thing. We got you checked in, and if there's enough for leftovers, you'll be able to do that.
Thanks, Dennis.
The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio is glowing in the dark. They will be after the roll call. Thanks for tuning us in. We are broadcasting. We're transmitting on Channel 11 in the Central Valley of California, 27085. Also streaming on your Universal Media Net web at oldtuberadio.net with links to some video and other wacky kind of things. Don't have to have any type of tube radio to join along and say hello radio. And we are looking forward to our collectors who take a lot of time and money and expense and space and, you know, the X-Files saying, where are you going? I'm going to check into the net. So we appreciate all of that. Somebody mentioned a Hilti drill. Bill, one of our astute and astounding shortwave listeners, tube radio operators, SWL25, was a Central Valley rep for a Hilti for a very, very long time. Top of the line, excellent machinery, as you well know. And he even lent me one. I got one from him to dig out a tower base, chip away at a solid concrete base of a tower we were trying to get down. Good stuff from Hilti. And if you're listening 25, they're talking about your old alma mater. And Jerry always used to say his boss at the Hilti place would always say, it's working. So you know when you got the right stuff. Let's go to SWL 61, which we got checked in.
Station.
Thank you, Dean Copenhagen. The station, go ahead. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, over.
Good evening, I'm Dennis. Out here in the Mobile, let's see if I can get an early check-in, 188.
188 from the bodacious sounding mobile. You are checked in.
Appreciate it. Even time to all. Thank you for the cut-in.
Not a problem. And in fact, if the mini grass was out, and they were about an hour ago, you would probably have some nice mobile-to-mobile contacts because you know they only check in from the mobile. You're sounding good.
10-4, definitely appreciate it, Dennis. Hey, guys, have a good night.
In the red box, yeah. Let's go to SWL 63. SWL 64, Craig checked in early. The sound of the echo link, that's coming up. SWL 64, we got checked in. SWL 65. SWL 66. We got an early check-in from SWL 67, likewise SWL 68. And likewise times 2, or to the second power, likewise squared for Kenny out there in Tulsa.
Testing 1, 2.
Audio sounds good. On the Echo Link, we'll be hearing from Sparks, Nevada. Let's go to SWL 70. Mark up in the hills. And a call and a check-in for SWL 71. Thanks, Stan. Early tonight, saw the picture of the Polycom Pro. First radio in 1964. That was like the engineer's radio. I look at that and all the knobs and dials. I'm thinking that wasn't your entry-level radio. A cool radio. Listened to it last week. Still have it, and it works. Even the Q multiplier. See, that was another thing. There's a Q multiplier. That was total Heathkit, Hallicrafters stuff put into that Polycom Pro Senior. I mean, they have their different ones, so the Pro is definitely the Pro. And upload the pictures. And as you know, Stan, or maybe you don't, we have a new way, an easy way, thanks to our Search Lawrence crew. Frodex has made it easy if you go to, and it's any time. The tube doesn't have to be glowing. Go to oldtuberadio.net. Go below the 6L6 tube, and it says upload your pics. And if you are astute at, poking and pressing at your phone or dropping and dragging, whatever it is that you have to do, the picture will go into a bin somewhere, and then at some point, yours truly will get in and make it so, as they say. And that's a good thing. We really got some great pictures coming in. So thanks, Stan. Good to hear you. I hope you're doing well, and that you are, in the thousands of ham radio operators on the air. Let's go to SWL 72.
72, checking in.
Mr. Radio Boy, you were sounding good earlier this afternoon and still sounding good right now. We've got the X and the square. Thanks. Coming down here on 27, Megacycles joining us. Thanks. SWL 73. I've got a note to Proxy 73, which I will do. SWL 74, Miss Jilly has a check-in. SWL 75. Shortwave listener 76. Who is that? Beagle Man, hello. SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis, and all the listeners. 77, Trainwreck 1017, and the Radio Lifer crew checking in.
Yeah, no train wreck there. Almost 40 over. The needle is looking at 40 over. Nice audio, and yeah, that's the thing. You get that one wavelength up in the air or more, and you are bound to tickle the fancy of DX. Thanks for checking out.
Thank you, sir.
X in the square. Where my mouse to be working. SWL 78, Wild Wildemar checked in a while ago, sitting in front of the fans. SWL 79. And Mr. DC, if I'm not doubling with you, I saw you in earlier, so the X is in the square. SWL 80. SWL 81. SWL 82 out in the ditch banks.
I made it back. How about that? 82 checking in from the ditch banks of Biola. And, Jeremy last night, he just squeaked in one of our super stations out there, Madera Rancho's, Pat. He was able to hear him, and with the flick of a switch, then DX was gone. So, anyway, that was a story on that, and then we were going to do some kind of a D-Star cross-band check-in, but that didn't happen. So anyway, all righty, that's all I have to report.
Well, it's nice you're coordinating those things, and that's almost an anomaly because we're probably going to have to wait another month and a half to get the proper daylight at 8 o'clock to be able to hear the Midwest and the East Coast on the long haul. But it'll be interesting, and if there's anybody that can do it, it is definitely Jeremy. You're sounding good. That's the voice of the Ditchbanks sideband net that you can participate in on Friday evenings here in the Central Valley of California, 27,365. That's 36 lower sideband. I'll get it right. Ron has some great ears. He's got a great transmitter. There's a spot for visitors to stop by. So won't you? Thanks, Ron.
All right. Thanks, Dennis.
And if the little promotional ads on the Central Valley Sea Beers don't make you want to go there, then you're just not paying attention. SWL 83. There's got to be a better place for this. J38. That might work better. I wouldn't have to look through my arm to see what's going on. The weather capital of the world. Where is the weather capital of the world? That's Zima. 121 Boogeyman. Anyway, whatever weather it is you have, I hope it's good. We've got SWL 84, SWL 86, and 87, and 88. Of course, that's Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and a Snowy Owl, respectively, checked in. Jimmy out in New Jersey Saying hello radio from OTR. We got a couple of New Jersey stations listening in. I see who just joined us. Waco, Texas just joined us. How is the refinishing project going along? Make sure you have plenty of ventilation. I guess the new products aren't so bad like they were 40 years ago. SWL 89, SWL 90, Punxsutawney. All right. That groundhog. Blame the groundhog. SWL 91. If you're listening from afar, Felix, we did see your check-in and did get you checked in. SWL 92. Mr. STD, Leo 93 checked in moments ago here on the L2 Radio Network. Warthog 95, SWL 95, everything 95. I bet he lives just off of Highway 95. Hello, radio.
Contact.
This is the contact frequency. Go ahead. Over.
Hey, Dennis. How's it going? 70 late check-in, please. Over.
No problem on the check-in. And notice I didn't say late because I still have the somewhere in my sites here. The check-in list where, you need an X, which it is now there.
Sweet. Thanks, man. Have a great weekend.
I will. I'm just, trying to get used to the springtime weather that feels like summer. And then you know how it is in April or May, we'll get that. It's snowing. It's snowing in Prather. You know how it is.
Oh, it's summer in Prather the last couple of days. In fact, there was a 4.5-foot rattlesnake on our back patio today. I had to dispatch.
Oh no! I know Mike. M Squared Mike was having some issues up there. I think you're a little bit higher in altitude than he is. I'm not sure, but they're coming out. So good that you were able to take care of that.
Yeah, it's just a little earlier than usual. Last year wasn't so bad. The year before, I think I had to whack like 13 or 14 of them. But yeah, we lost a pup here our first year here via rattlesnake. Then we had a horse with all kinds of issues that got bit. So I've taken on the no tolerance attitude with these guys. So anyhow, yeah, life on the frontier. Over.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're versed and knows that's sort of what you might expect when you go up there. I'm sure there's some people that go up there and really don't have any clue that things can happen. So you figure out the best way to make it work. All right, you're sounding good, and I appreciate you stopping by the Saturday night place to be.
Thanks for being there, Dennis.
No problem. If I wasn't here, they'll drag me here. They'll find me. Sometimes I hide in the back of the big red limo, and they're like, no, they have the jacket in their hand. It's like, you're coming to the air chair. And that's okay. I've been doing it for 40 years. Let's go. We're page 4. We're almost to the radios, and we are checking in. SWL 96. Kurt is waiting. He says, are you ever going to call my number? Out in Kokomo. Echolink link looks good. And also joining us on the General MC5, nice. Wayne from Glen Allen, looking good. And let me go back to SWL 32, getting some fresh air on the refinishing project. Yeah, I'm going to say it is 2026, and most of the products probably do not have what we used to say harmful VOCs. When I was refinishing cabinets back in the 90s, it was sort of you can get the bad stuff, you can get the good stuff, and if they're probably better now. They probably work a little bit more efficiently. So citrus-based chemicals for removal of old paint. What is that one? Goo Gone? I think that's a citrus-based. Sometimes the smell on that is a little too strong. And staying in Tunguly for finishing. All right, plenty of ventilation. Looks good. Should be good. And Pam will have to find you, and maybe you already have one, a big oak, one of those giant oak desks you guys can refinish for the radio room. Maybe you have something like that. Another project in the works. But you're going to be a retired guy, so your refinishing days are not over, believe me. The Old Tube Radio Network. We are on page 4 trying to finish up the roll call, get to the radios. 428 in the Squamish Boys. Saying hello to radio. Peter, boy, the band was horrible last night with the A&K. I was listening up in British Columbia and Prince Charles and out. It wasn't good last night at all. So I'm hoping they'll get that SDR down the street, wherever it was from you. Hope they'll put that back up. But we'll see what happens. Thanks for jumping in and saying hello, radio. And acetone. Yeah, you got to be careful with acetone. It will remove the paint, and it will remove your fingers if you don't have gloves on. Continuing. As usual, I forgot to say something. Oh, SWL 36. Gerald, I see you in there before you scroll off my screen. I'm going to go to the page and make sure the X is there. Oh, somebody checked you in. Somebody make sure 111 is in. All right, we'll make the official X here. I think that's it. Did I click the right number? Oh, you know what? Wow, I was watching the replay. It is way behind. I think that's one thing. If you refresh your browser every so often, if it doesn't throw you out of the Universal Media Network, it will make things less or more up to date, is what I'm trying to say. And SWL 50. They say double check. I've got a thing. Double check 50. Did I put an X in the square? Gerald, no, I did not. Thank you. Out there in beautiful Battle Creek, Michigan. Let me make that official in the box. It's like makeup day. It's like making up the homework night. Okay, I think we're good now. They're saying proceed. SWL 97. Mr. Boston, I wonder if you're out there. I'm trying not to break it. I want to get into the radios here. Somebody said a proxy for Jim. We'll do that. Tracy, hello, radio SWL 98. Some good stuff on the promotionals this week, as always. Get a kick out of that. I'm always thinking, how am I going to live up to this one? SWL 99, Radio Randy. We're not going to hear Arizona this time. SWL 100. All right, let me get over to the Echo Link. I know there's a bit of a delay, so we'll see what we can do. We're going to try the Echo Link, see if Tony can get us activated. Hello, KD4BAO from KB6GFD, over. See if we can't get our tubes on the air Echo Link activation.
Hey, good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Good to hear you. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
And likewise, always sounding good on the Echo Link. We've got the X in the square, and in moments I'll give you the cue for firing up those tubes. Thanks. KB6GFD. And I also want to say hello, radio, to Albert up in the Sparks, Reno area. Just wonder if you guys up in that altitude are getting the summertime weather that we're having down here in the Valley of California. KI6CBA, take a transmission, KB6GFD, over.
KI6CBA, Al here, Bert. It's hotter than heck up here. We are having the hottest days. I'm afraid we're not even going to get a full winter here. It's very dry as usual. But I'm looking forward to the radios that you're going to have tonight. And the last couple of weeks, I had a little bit of internet connection. The microphone's not going good. And I tried to reset my machine just a couple of minutes ago, my computer, and and then I lost everything. So I just got back in time, just in time to say hello, radio, and OTR. Hey, I'm just going to sign out with a 73 and look forward to the radios. Okay, talk to you soon.
Sounding good, not a problem. That's the way to do it. Jump in and jump right out, and we'll continue on. Sounding good. Yeah, it's that the weather's like that all over, but it will get better. Thanks for joining us in 73. KB6 GFT Fresno. Continuing on with the roll call. SWL 102. John was checked in earlier. And I think you're out of the, as we used to say, you're out of the salt mine by now, right? I was eating my grilled cheese sandwich, and he was out of the salt mine, counting the hours down until he would be in the air chair for the old Tube Radio Network. And we've got you checked in. SWL, thanks, John. SWL 103. Joey in South Carolina can check in many places, and here's the one. He's watching the show. Is there a show? Let me know where it is. I want to see something good tonight. So, give me the coordinates for that. Thanks, Joey. Appreciate it. There's your X in the square. If it updates, and it did. Looking good from South Carolina tonight. Let's go to SWL 109. I will get Mr. Crawdad checked in. I think James was saying he was out of town or something. Another FFA item of interest. The busiest guy this side of Blackstone Avenue here in Fresno. So if you're watching the replay, Mr. Crawdad, you are checked in. SWL 110. Got a check-in from 111 earlier. Also, SWL 113. The guy that got us started off as 00, 2-for-1 coupon, SWL 114. Putting the X's where they go. He's got a check-in already. Let's go to SWL 128. And John said he was also under the weather and going to bed early tonight. So that thing that was here on the West Coast about a month ago that I had, everybody else had, is moving its way across the U.S. John, I've got you checked in if you're watching the replay. Over to SWL 131. SWL 135.
Oh, what happened to 133? SWL 135 checking in.
All right, I'm looking. Oh, you know what? I think it got traded. It got traded for another number insert. So 35 is good to go.
Oh, okay. Just on my own delay system there. See ya.
Yeah, I should warn you about these things. You're queuing to the previous number, and it's like, wait a minute. So according to the chart, 131 is your previous now. On the boat anchor. Who's on a boat anchor tonight? Raise your hand. Swan, Helicrafters, Old Tram, E.F. Johnson, Gold Dust Twins, Collins. I don't know, you name it. If it's a boat anchor to you, it's a boat anchor to us. Let's go to SWL 137. Got a proxy for 137. And Mr. Tony, I think he's got some Friday questions. I haven't looked at him yet, but we'll take a look. Tony Van Korskal, we'll get him X in the square. Neil, 147, talking down to the Central Valley here. To Mr. Trainwreck and all the good stations. Probably one of our few stations that can be heard on the West Coast with the conditions we've been having. Mr. Snowbeast, 188, has got the check-in out of the mobile. Jim and Corscold checked in early in the program here, 195. From Madera Town, SWL 223. I'm going to listen. Got the X in the square. I know you're out there. And 226, Jeff. I'm just trying to make sure we don't blow anything up. Do we have time? They're saying, well, we can try. See if we have time to jump in to our Friday questions, although they're not loading. Did our internet go down? No, I think we're still streaming. Get it to work. All right, do a quickie on the questions here. They look easy enough. Number one, what ham equipment manufacturer made radios with Indian names like Apache, Mohawk, and Cheyenne? Hint, they also made 11-meter radios, but they didn't have those names. They had a letter and a number. So we're looking for the ham equipment manufacturer that made radios with Indian names like Apache, Mohawk, and Cheyenne, and made numerical. Alpha Numerical was the hot water for the amateur, and the Gulf whiskey for the CB stuff.
One Navajo?
Well, that was Radio Shack. Actually, that's a good answer. But, and I think that's, Radio Shack probably stole it from the Apache, Mohawk, Cheyenne for these guys, because they were earlier than that. And there was quite a few that did. So all these are good answers. The answer we're looking for
Heathkit
would be absolutely Heathkit, Apache, Mohawk, and Cheyenne. So, but there are others, like we heard Navajo, and but it was Heathkit. I think Olson and Lafayette might have also done some as well. All right, Heathkit. And believe it or not, Harvey has checked in on the Mohawk and the Cheyenne. It was a transmitter-receiver combination that would work up on these frequencies, so we've heard them on the Old 2 Radio Network.
Me too, I've got one.
That's right. Okay, we've heard yours. So a nice radio will give you your at least 5-watt DC input, and I think they're set up for some good CW and AM, so good stuff. Okay, question number 2 before we get into the radios here. Who is considered, and it's multiple choice, who is considered the patron saint? Well, these are all amateur radio questions, but put on your ham hat here. Who is considered the patron saint of amateur radio operators? Okay, and there's multiple choice because I don't know. It could be anyway. The patron saint of amateur radio operators, is it A, Saint Moran, Saint Moran? These are really saints. B, Saint Colby, Saint Kolbe, and this would be the patron saint we're looking for. C, Saint Maximilian, or D, Monk Apollo. Didn't he play at the Super Bowl? Wasn't he the halftime thing? I'll read this again. This is a crazy question. Who's considered the patron saint of amateur radio operators? I have no idea. Saint Moran, Saint Colby, Saint Maximilian, or Monk Apollo?
Saint Colby. You get that, Dennis?
Yeah, I got that. And I'm going to try and find the answer here. The answer is, well, wait a minute, I think you're Maximilian Colby. Well, wait a minute. B is Saint Colby, and C is Saint Maximilian. And the answer is, and it doesn't give the letter, it just gives the answer is Maximilian Colby. So if you said B, like Joe did, I think you're correct. And if you said C, like somebody else did, you're probably correct. All right, I don't get that answer because it's weird. Maybe it's Buffy St. Marie. But Colby seems to be the answer. Who else got that? Bill got that as well. So I'm gonna research that because that is totally out of left field. I will be back. We want to talk to some radios. If you've got one, glowing in the dark, of course, have it stand by, and I'll be back in the air chair in moments to give the floor over to our tube radio operators. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, and we'll do what we do best, is listen to the radio. So back in a moment.
Sent you some pictures, Joe.
Okay. Well, you wanted me to send you pictures.
No, I sent you some, and you got a big signal in here tonight.
Oh, must be, maybe something's wrong. Maybe somebody's running down the street.
And who did I miss? Frank D. Frank Dancer from Yellow Springs, Ohio. Good having pizza tonight in front of the radio. And Somnium 158. Give me another week or two. We're trying to see if there's somebody that's abandoning a number that's on the finite list. And I can get you on the paper. But in the meantime, Somnium 1158, we got you checked in. But I got my eye on a couple of numbers that I think are going to be vacated. But it may take a couple of weeks to confirm that. All right, back in a moment, because we want to check in some tube radios. Over. All right, I'm back. I had to run to the green room. It is really warm in here. Get something to drink. Man, talk about disorganization. All right, the Old Tube Radio Network. The jingle singers are off tonight. Our standard one. So this is how we're going to intro things.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar. You can listen with your whole family.
Well, I hope you're listening somewhere. It's a neighborhood bar, your car, from the chair side. The RCA Radio, the Old Tube Radio Network, we are back. Jingle singers off for the week, but thanks to these jingle singers loaned to us from SWL 23. I had to run back in here, and now I'm getting hooked up. We're trying to get unhooked from all the cables. The seersucker suit looked good. The pocket protector is ready to go, and we are now listening for any and all our radio check-ins. You're listening to OTR.
56. 5135.
77.
60.
Okay, I wrote as fast as I could in the order that I heard the items of interest. And let me see if I can read my writing. Yes, I can. All right, SWL60, Joe, don't go away. You will be Radio 4. Radio number 3 will be coming from the interior groves of SWL77 and the Radio Lifer crew. Radio number 2 will be Mr. Green Arrow. And stepping up to the air chair right now because the green light is flashing go. 56, just for kicks. What have you got for us? Over.
Well, good evening, Dennis. I have a Tram TR27 Echo.
Tram TR27E. Let me see if I've got... I'll put in my TR filter. And what's coming up with Tram? Oh, you know what? I have one. This is a good one. I've got a picture. We'll go back to you. This was the big Tram, probably from 1963, before the Titan series begat the Titan series. Over to you for transmission. We'll get a great shot of the big green, turquoise, whatever color that is. What machine? Over.
Well, thank you, Dennis. It's one of my favorite radios. And since you have a picture of the radio, you might be able to help my tired eyes figure out what the logo is. There's a stenciling Tram 23 CB2A radio, and there's a logo there, and it's a stylized T. And I don't know if that's an E or a D, or what's your take? Over.
All right, got the shot. We've got the close-up. I'm going to find, I think I have an ad. We're looking right at it. And yeah, there's some, the circle logo, the thing in the center. What I'll try to do is not find the radio, but see if I can find a Tram ad. And maybe that's some nifty little logo that they paid somebody a lot of money for. And then when they put it on, and when they, took it down to a half an inch, it didn't read quite well. It's on everything. I see it again on their ad, which I will put up and move down. But it's gonna go wide, and it's probably not gonna look like anything. There it is. It's blurry. Wow. I don't know. It looks like it's two lines holding up the circle. Over.
I'm taking a stab as TE Tram Electronics, but it's really too stylized. Over.
Yeah, and they're called Electronics Incorporated. So EI, and then it looks like there might be a word or something behind that second. I'll call it I or post. So probably what I'm going to need is go to a website that that's not a picture of a picture or something like that. In the meantime, let me go to the full page, full screen ad, the TR27E, 1963. They even gave you a service tip to tune the 3.15 megacycle first conversion receiver oscillator. It was right there. They didn't seem to be worried that you might mess anything up. Pretty cool. Always good audio on the Tram, and I'm not sure about the receive side, but I bet it's got a pretty decent receiver. I think it might have a Collins mechanical filter in there.
Well, I really don't know about the Collins. I don't think I've ever had the cover off of this one, but I haven't had it on the air for quite a while, and I got a little bit thrown. There's a slider switch from M to X, and so M would be manual tune on the receive, of course, and then X would be crystal. Well, on the buddy, if I flip it over to the X, I still get receive through the crystal rather than the tuner. But this one gave me a throw because when I flipped it over to the X, I got zilch, and then it dawned on me that that's because the X is for the external crystal receive.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the picture here. Uh-oh. Something wacky has happened. Okay, I see what we got. Yeah. And there should be, it's on. So that's a buffer below. I went too far. All right, that's just not going to work. Let's stick with that. So yeah, you'd have to have a crystal that fits that socket. I don't know what size that is. It's like a 243. And so when you went to X, there would, like you said, there'd be something there, something for it to do.
Well, indeed. But what threw me is that, like I say, on the Buddy, you've got a similar switch, and the radio itself, the receiver itself, has a bank of received crystals in it. This radio apparently does not. It just services at X, just only functions the external received crystal.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, okay. So they do that, of course, because you've got the manual tuning. You've got the really small dial that you can't really see what channel you're transmitting on. Then you've got the nice illuminated receive dial. But were you to think, I don't want to tune back and forth and spot the thing, I'm sure that's what they've got. You go to the X, and if your favorite channel just happens to be channel 11, which it might be, that would get you where you needed to go without a lot of effort over.
Well, indeed so. It just seems to me that because it is a tunable receive, that it would make that auxiliary receive crystal a little bit unnecessary, because it will tune through all the 23 channel, at the time, legal channels.
Yeah, I just think it's probably more of a convenience thing. They're trying to give to you there. Whether it's convenience or not, I don't know.
Well, anyway, Dennis, thanks for letting me check it in. We'll let those that are in the holding pattern land their aircraft. Over.
Will do. And I looked at that logo again, and I'm thinking it might be a T. I think you mentioned that, a TE for Tram Electronics, kind of stuck in there. And I bet when it was on the big bulletin board in front of the crew, they said, yeah, that's great, but once you shrink it down on the front of the panel at a quarter of an inch, it loses something. Radio number 1, Phil's collection, the Tram TR27 Echo. They're top of the line of the TR27 series before the Tram Titan and the Titan II. Good radio, and those were almost $400, believe it or not, but good stuff, and still working well here in 2026. Thanks, Grandpa.
14.
And 14, we'll add you to the list. We'll try to keep you awake for a couple more radios here. So don't go away. We hear you. Let's go over to Mr. Green Arrow. Okay, we've got all the videos sort of messed up, so let me get back to the control room. That's better. Looking good. 135, we're over to you. Over.
My turn already, huh? Okay. I just realized I can't remember where these were made. This is SWL 135 on the Johnson Viking Messenger, also known as the White Face. I think this was the first one. The first of their CBs, wasn't it? It's in Sam's number 1, and I think this is the first time they went, from the the ham, the great big stuff, like the Valiant and stuff like that, into the CB market. It has 10 tubes, but only 5 channels: crystal controlled, transmit, and receive. And I am currently using the static, what do you call it, the ice cream cone type microphone. Back to you.
Sounds good. These radios always sounded good. No nonsense. At that time, 1958, 59, Johnson was making the 100, 80-pound radios, the Viking Valiant, the Ranger, with the big tubes running probably 40 to 60 to 80 watts output. So they had to make a smaller version of the transmitter, of course, to get the 5-watt DC. And then they had to stick it on a transceiver because their other things they were doing were all transmitters, as far as I know. I don't think they had... I'm trying to think what you used for a Johnson transmitter, what receiver you would use, a Hallicrafters or a Hammerland or a Collins or something. So it was a little project to kind of scale things down, put it in a receiver. So I don't think they had any problem figuring out how to make it sound good. They probably had issues in keeping it tamed for the Class D style radio. And a lot of those actually were set up that they could run 10 meter. And so the transformers and some of the power outputs were a little bit beefy, but dialed down for 11 meter use. Although I think that's why these were radios that people liked. They could modify and get a few more watts out of them over.
Yeah, Roger. And do you remember where these things were made? I can't remember where the Johnsons, was it Chicago or something?
Okay, let me find. It's not Winnisquam, right? Because that's Tram, I think.
Right. The New Hampshire made the Brownings and the Trams. I can't remember where these were made.
And they're probably moved a couple of times. So when they were being made originally, and of course, when you search something, it says they're headquartered in Irving, Texas. So that's where they're at now. But when it was Edgar F. and friends, I have a feeling
I am now streaming live with the SDR.
Okay. Waseca. No, it was. It was Edgar Frederick Johnson in Waseca, Minnesota, 1923.
That was it, Minnesota. Okay. I just wanted to do that. Anyway, let's see. This one is for sale. It's $100. It comes with both the mics that you see pictured. They're both original Johnson mics. They were both made by Astatic. And I guess that's it for me. Unless there's anything else you want to know.
No, and there was the typical, I have one of these, and it's got both of the microphones. I don't know if it was some static thing that they had, the ice cream cone style microphone. And I'm going to say the side push to talk was the one that was probably wired in, but the Astatic that I have has it as though you could wire it in if you wanted to do that way. So does yours have, can I see, I can't really see if it's wired in or if it's got a modified for a mic plug.
Well, yeah, if you there you go. If you scroll down on the picture a bit, you can see Harvey made a pigtail mic jack for it, so you can plug either microphone in.
Nice. And so if someone has their favorite microphonium, or you might want to run some audio gear and patch it through from an XLR, you would be able to do that easy. It's got the two jeweled lights, sort of like an old console hi-fi back in the day. One, I think, lets you know the radio's on. The other one, I think it might blink a little bit if you shout into it. Over.
Yeah, it's essentially what is happening. I got to really shout into it. But it is showing modulation. And, yeah, the amber one there just shows that it's on. Now, if you'll notice the knob underneath the Viking head is pointed straight up at channel C. Is that channel C or number 3? It's C. That is where I have the channel 11 crystal, because that was the best socket. The one that's the most stable crystal socket. So believe it or not, like all the other radios I post up here, it's always on channel 11.
The Saturday night place to be. And there were 3 versions designated by a number, like a 3 and 3 or 2 and 3 digit number on the back. One would run 6-volt DC. One could run your 12-volt DC, because back in the day, and there was kind of both hanging around. And then one would be wired in for your 110 or 117 or 115, whatever it was they said it was at that time, AC. So I'm thinking you've got that plugged into the wall, right?
Well, actually, it's into a plug bar right now out here in the CB cabana. But yes, it is running AC. And anyone interested in it, please contact your local Harvey bottler.
Very good. Sounding good. I think we did a frequency check earlier. It's about 100 cycles low, so it's right on frequency. And somebody, the radio ham guy, Larry, said when he worked at E.F. Johnson in the 1980s, the only really problems they had were the crystals being off frequency. So that one's got the good crystal in it and no problem there. A classic radio, as Cliff mentioned, one of the first, when they made the Class D citizen radio service, E.F. Johnson was one of the ones to jump in, and this is a radio that they used to do it. And pretty much the Messenger 2 and the 223 are all based on this chassis with a few extras. Good sounding radio, very modifiable for extra power and modulation. You could do the controlled carrier mod and all sorts of things. Sounding good. Radio number 2, the E.F. Johnson, Waseca, Minnesota Messenger, the Viking Messenger Whiteface. Thanks.
Oh, thanks for letting me check it in here. And you'll notice the face of the ice cream cone, Mike. It's got the Viking head on it, which I always thought was very cool. So you have many Vikings in one radio. Okay, thanks again, and that'll be it for me for tonight.
All right, thanks for stopping by on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's see, we've got the Jingle Singers. Okay, they want to say something.
Thanks for stopping by.
Well, at least we know they can be nice. Thanks. Radio number 2, the E.F. Johnson Messenger Viking, and radio number 3 coming up now. And we may have a bird's eye view of this also on the Radio Lifer site. We'll find out. Hello, 77 and 42.
Good evening, Dennis. 077 1017 train wreck checking in the T-Berry Model T. This is the 40-channel version, and in my early childhood days, junior high into high school, I had the 23-channel version. So the old T-Berry has a special place in my heart. And I was fortunate enough and truly blessed. This was a gift from Bob, 111, and out there in Reedley. And boy, he really just blew me away. He showed up and he said, I need to pay it forward. I know these radios have a special place for you. And he opened the car door and said, there you go. It's all yours. And this radio is definitely a 10 out of 10. It is in flawless condition, both in and out.
Is that the 23 or the 40-channel version that you're talking on?
This one is the Phase Lock Loop 40-channel version.
And it really shouldn't be much different, but it's got the digital display. It's still got that same S meter. I'm sure that is the same S meter that I had in my realistic Navajo that came out at about that time. Of course, this is the Panasonic 2 chassis with the plate modulation, so that's why it always sounds good. And some sentimental value thrown in as well. No problem. Radio sounding good. I'm looking for let's do a close-up on that meter switch. On this, the T-Berry gives you the SRF. That's so you're switching the meter, right?
Yeah, you can either switch it for RF or you can switch it to bring in the incoming signal on the receive.
Great. Squelch volume and a fine tune, little delta tune. There's the logo, the T-Berry, the T. And I think, and someone confirmed that for us, that the tram was probably TE for Tram Electronics. So here's another T, but they just kept the T, and you can read it a little bit better over.
Yeah, I tell you what, I spent many a late nights with the T-Berry, Model T, and my Super Scanner switchable beam, talking down into your neck of the woods back in the day down there in Southern California.
CB was booming. When these first came out, early 70s, and all throughout the 40 channel would have been 75, 76, they were building, because I was down at the beach, and you'd hear Corona and Riverside, and they were building a lot of houses up in the hills of the Inland Empire. And as they did that, you have all these spots that you never heard any stations from. All of a sudden, there'd be thousands of people there in the new housing developments, and you could talk even farther out through the valley. Good stuff. T-Berry Model Base Station. Doing a good job. Back to you for another transmission, and thanks for Radio 3 tonight. And are you guys simulcasting on Radio Lifer with this?
We are running the simulcast. We'll post it after OTR is finished, so you can see both sides of this conversation on Radio Lifer, YouTube, or TikTok with 4 R's on the end of Lifer. And this radio is really happy with the Golden Eagle D104. That's what we are running right here. And yes, you are correct. I was in the hills of Glendora looking down into the valley, and I would talk into Manhattan Beach on a regular basis.
We had some nice, Manhattan Beach had some nice hills that looked out to that. But I remember the guys in the North San Fernando Valley, the early 70s, they just started getting the freeway and the extra 4 lanes going over the Grapevine and up in that area, Sunland to Hunga, and then out Corona and that area as the houses were built out there. Fun stuff. Friday night, you would be having a good time, and you'd look up, and it would be 4:30 in the morning, and you might see one of your parents kind of coming down the hall frowning at you. It's like, it's time to go to bed. So good stuff.
Oh, yeah. I was right above the 210 freeway, and that was a brand new freeway. It finished at that time in Laverne, California, just east of us. Now it goes all the way out to I-15, but back then it dead end right there at Foothill Boulevard. Good old get your kicks on Route 66. All right, I appreciate it, Dennis. Thanks for letting us check it in. All the good numbers to everyone out there from the Radio Lifer crew. Old Trainwreck 1017 signing off.
And in those days, at least all 23 channels were busy down in Southern California, all of them. And 17 and 19 for the truckers, 15 and 16 for the sideband, and then they went to 40 channels, and pretty much 33 and up was a lot of sideband frequencies. 11 and 12, 13 were still, some of the people considered those the inter channels, and so sometimes they said you need to have your call letters if you're going to be on 12 and 13, which you did. 11 was big, 6 was big, and it depended on where you were as to what the local spot was. Good times. That's what we try to recreate here. If you don't remember it, what you're hearing tonight, a lot of people sitting down talking, having a good time. No hate and discontent, because this what was your social media. This was Facebook. This was your phone. This was let's do something fun. So thanks, Dennis and Jerry, for helping us out. Radio number 3.
Info.
This is the info frequency. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm streaming the SCR view live on YouTube at this time.
Okay, I think I still have the... let's see if I can call that up and actually find that. There's the live picture. Nothing's happening. Do I have to start it? Can it start? Will it start? Uh-oh. I just broke something. Okay, I see it starting. Let me see if there's audio, and then we want to get to the radios here.
Find that.
Okay.
There's the live picture.
All right, good. I'll leave that up, and we'll get some pictures of the radios as they come up. 2 more radios to go. Don't go away, Sean. We're coming up to you in a moment. But first, let's head over to SWL 60. Hello, Joe.
Oh, boy, let me see if I can get situated here. Dennis, SWL 60 checking in from World Radio Labs, my Hustler base.
All right, everything is slow tonight. Internet, the Universal Media Netweb, the Hustler base. I've got the shot. I'll bring it in, and we'll talk more about your 7-tube radio wonder. I think it sounds like you got it set up. Take a transmission over.
Well, we're going to do the best we can with it, Dennis. We are set up, and doggone it, thanks to Harvey, who made it possible for me to have this little Hustler base. And also, I can't leave out 1017. This is his microphone. He was good enough to give me this one, Turner Plus 3. Dennis, we have 7 tubes, a few features on it. It's got a carrying handle. It has the knobs for the handle. Also has a little mic hanger. And once again, the Turner Plus 3 desk mic.
There is the blue micro. Do you still have the blue microphonium that comes with it?
Oh, I got it, Dennis. I take very good care of that. I don't know what kind of material that old microphone is made out of, but we know that we are using this one, and hopefully we are getting out.
Looking good. All right, I'm trying to get the SDR to come up here. It looks like it's got a really slow release time on it. That would be here, and then the audio is probably going to be down.
We are using this one, and hopefully we are getting out.
Okay, and that is your boy. I'm looking at that. When that keys up, it's got it looks every bit like an old tube radio. Over.
You know, it's a remarkable little radio, Dennis. Doggone it. It has its squelch, its volume, and a few other little features. Even a crystal slot. Could be for 11, but I'm not sure. There is one in there right now, but I don't know which one it is. It does have your, I think a little spotter switch, they call it. I don't know exactly how you use that, but, and a nice little speaker and a vertical meter. They didn't, it's funny, for such a little radio, they got so much in it.
It's and we talked about this before, it's the Madman Months way to build a radio. You start with the biggest thing you got with 13 tubes. You just keep pulling out the tubes until it stops. It's like, 6 tubes, put back in tube 7, put in an S meter, and you're good to go. But of course, it's World Radio Labs. Leo Meyerson was no slouch when it came to WRL and Globe and making big iron radios as well. So again, like we discussed with E.F. Johnson, kind of toning things down, exactly what happened here with the World Radio Labs. With the Globe King and the Globe 500, the Globe Scout. Let's make a 5-watt DC input and see if we can't cash in on some of that 11 meter. When we have 700,000 hams, we got 4 million 11 meter operators, and they were smart enough, not like Swan, where he sort of pushed the 11 meter off to the side. He still called it World Radio Lab and still had Globe, but I don't think he advertised it on QST. Radio number 4. From World Radio Labs. Look them up if you have a chance. WRL, and read about Leo Meyerson and all the great things that he did in radio. And here's one of them. We're listening to it now. Back to you, Joe, for transmission, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dennis. And once again, you're sounding mighty choice. And the old meter there, you're pegging me out. Doggone it. It must be a good day for radio. Thanks, Dennis.
As long as you're talking local, it hasn't been the greatest place to be for Skip, but we're having some sun malfeasance. But that doesn't hurt us at all on the local side. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. what are we looking for? I'm going to clear the rigs wherever that might be. And we're going to go to Sean. I hope you are still in the air chair upright. Over.
Oh, I am. I was enjoying the hustler there, conversation you were having, and from a sparse one to the one that has all kinds of stuff. This one is 4 meters, 7 knobs, 6 switches, the DAC Mark 1X radio telephone.
Got a shot of that, the Mark 1X or the 9. I talked to Greg WikiWhack, who is an aficionado on these, and I was hoping he would join us tonight. He was saying he's having some internet problems, but he could give us some really nice info on the DACs. They're a much maligned radio, and you either love them or hate them. But depending on how you look inside and what you do, they're not too bad. It's a hybrid from it's 40 channels, so 77, 76, 77, 78. They were actually advertised in some very high-class catalogs. I think Sharper Image. I think it was the only CB radio that could make the Sharper Image catalog. But it is impressive when you sit down in front of that radio. Back to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm looking at Larry's SDR, and it's definitely wide. There appears to be no end to it. It just kind of fades off out there. But I'm on a static Minuteman 2 amplified hand mic, which I really dig because it's got the chrome face and it matches the DAC quite well. I do like the radio, nice radio, but I did drag 2 of them in here tonight, and only one made it to the party. So it has all kinds of nice meters and knobs, and then giant rack handles, and some pretty good audio as well. I appear to be just a hair off frequency though. So other than that, it's hopefully making a good trip to you still.
Got great audio. Let me jump in. See if I get the audio to come up on the Larry cam here. And we're going to go to Sean. I hope you are is really still delayed. In the air chair upright. Over.
Oh, I am.
Listen to that.
Enjoying
Here's the replay.
The hustler there. Conversation you were having, and from a sparse one to...
I'm trying to figure out where you start.
The one that has
right
all
there.
kinds of stuff. This one is 4 meters, 7 knobs, 6 switches.
Holy cow, you're not kidding. I'm looking
Mark 1X,
at that radio. I'm
telephone.
6K wide, and you're about 7 or 8. So full... Bring the audio down here. I'm talking over myself here. A good 7 to 8K on the AM audio, and it sounds great. And you're not running any modified audio board, right?
Negative. No, it's a stock DAC audio, 2 tubes, and what appears to look like a mobile unit right there in the middle. And I don't know how you do it, man, when you're doing that replay, because the kids got the Wolfman Jack playing in there on Kino, and it's enough just listening to that and trying to talk at the same time. So you're quite talented, my friend.
Well, I need to grow a third arm. I also need a much better desk and an internet that was a little bit quicker. But it sort of reminds me of the days of working broadcast television, where there is way more than one thing going on, and you might be in control of many of them. So hopefully for our listeners and viewers, we're putting the appropriate thing on the screen at the right time. But it's always about the radio. So if you're sitting listening into the radio, that's kind of what we want you to do. Encourage you to do the same thing. If you're out there, get on the air tonight. Doesn't have to be anything special. It can be vintage radios. It can be just anything. As you heard Dennis talking, some of us who've been doing this for a while remember when you couldn't find an empty channel. You would just click around. It's like, I guess I'll just hang out and get my 5 minutes of fun. So we recreate that here on Saturday evenings. We've been doing it since the mid-1980s. And the fact that we've been here for 40 years, I think, is a good sign that maybe something is being done correctly. Anyway, I enjoy it. The collections we have here in the Central Valley are great. And it's been fun as we've branched out with the media, or the internet to see that a lot of other people have these great collections, and we're glad that they can share them with us as well. Let's go back to you for another transmission. I don't have to do the zero beat. I can see where your frequency is, and it's pretty close to being on the air. And keep that. If you ever get into the audio, hi-fi audio thing, I think this is going to be one of your radios.
Yeah, you never know. Here lately, I'm really into shortwave listening. I got up there and strung 100 feet of wire all over my roof, air conditioner, all that today. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it. And I did want to say that Dennis sounded really good tonight on the T-Berry Model T. Him and Jerry always make an amazing trip out here to Sanger.
Well, I'll have to put up a shot of the antenna. They just got the antenna up at least a wavelength, or maybe even more, maybe two. So that's helping out. And then, of course, they never have a problem picking a classic radio that sounds good and figuring out how to keep that 5-watt DC input right at the tippy top. So that's nice. And when I was on earlier, Dennis was talking. The skip just showed up from Hawaii, and Dennis keys down and says something, hello, and they go, hello, right back. So you know you're a big strapper when you can do that. And I think likewise out of your area as well. Good signal from Sanger tonight. DAC Mark 9, the Mark IX. Find out more next time Greg shows up. He's been inside of the radios, and it's S9 Radio. I don't know his exact YouTube, but he's got a YouTube on the DAC series, and he's one of their fans. Like I said, there's a lot of detractors for that, but he's one of the big fans of the Mark 9, and you can't go wrong if you've got one. Thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, thank you for the time this evening for the DAC Mark 9, and everybody out there, have a nice evening.
Yeah, let's do I didn't get a chance to do the close-up, but look at the controls that you've got on the radio, plus the rack handles. They went back to the rack handles, but made the radio look more like, stereo gear, mic gain, calibrate for your standing wave ratios. The band, A, B, C, D, E, I have to talk about that one. Channel selector, RF gain, which is a great knob to have, squelch, volume. Then you've got the power switch, the noise blanker switch, and an A&L, separate noise blanker and A&L, nice touch. You've got a high and a low, not sure with that. Calibrate for your SWR and your transmit, and even got a standby switch. And then we're going to go up to the meters. So all reading simultaneously and at the same time, SWR, RF output, modulation, all separate, so you don't have to go flipping switches. And the signal strength looks like it's in possibly 60 dB. The DAC Mark 9 radio telephone. Find your Sharper image catalog from, see if you do a search on that, and they are in there. I wonder how many they sold to out of that catalog. Thanks.
Break OTR.
Break OTR. Let me reconnoiter, get my video back here and say, go ahead, sir. You're sounding good. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. I'd like to check in my Lafayette Comstat 25 Bravo.
25B from Lafayette, and I've got a nice little shot from the Lafayette catalog that we will add to the mix here. But before that, let's go to the 25B. We'll go back to you for a transmission. Over.
Okay, I'm on an amplified D104 microphone, and let me see, I've got the range boost engaged. Stand by. That's without the range boost.
Wow, the range boost is doing its job. You probably go down a bit. So if you haven't switched, don't do it yet. I'm going to put the Orban meter. So take another transmission without the range boost, and then in about 10 seconds, flip it on. We'll see what kind of dB boost it gets.
Well, very good. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stand by. Range boost on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Over.
Nice. Sounds good. At least 3 to 4 dB on the LKFS Robert Orban meter, getting you right up to 100% asymmetrical and beyond. So no need to have the amplified microphone. They've got it built in right in the radio for you.
Indeed. Let's see, this one, I don't think there's anything really special or unique about it other than it's mine. But it does have a fine tune knob. And what I find with that is that it's almost like a bass treble when you turn it. The incoming audio either can get some more lows or highs depending on how you twist the knob and over.
And I'm thinking, is this on, it's on a Panasonic chassis, 23 would know. And I don't know if this is a similar one that they used for like the Robin T123B, or if it was a little bit different when this came in. It is 23 channels, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. It might be, but this was a whole different animal than the Comstat 25A. It had that look of the new modern stereo gear with the sort of blacked out front panel, and was very workable into the living room, so the XYL would approve.
Yeah, it does not look. It does not have an intimidating appearance. It looks like it belongs in the living room.
As well it should be. All right, let me go to the Larry. I don't know where we are because it's so delayed. I don't see you coming in yet. Okay, looks like you're coming in on the Sigma-wise. So I'm going to pull that up. Should be that is the picture. Let's see where the audio is. I'm talking too much. I'm going to hear you. There you go.
Lafayette, Comstat 25 Bravo.
All right. Doing a good job. It looks like it's a little bit high on frequency, but doing a good job.
Well, thank you, Dennis. As the hour is approaching, we'll turn it back to OTR.
All right, I'm going to pull up, somebody loaded the Lafayette catalog here. There it is. Let me go there. And you can see 1966, well before the Comstat series. And notice how appropriately dressed back in 1966, the gentleman who for some reason needs a pen and a piece of paper while he's talking on his radio that has the call signs displayed on the top. That's the way it was. You had to be tip-top shape. You had to be on your toes to operate your CB radio back in the day, even if it was from Lafayette Radio Electronics, and they had a lot of good stuff. One we just heard, radio number 6 tonight. Thanks.
You have time for one more?
This is the time for one more frequency, so you made it back on your wayward journey. I figured you might have been listening somewhere.
60. Okay, well, there's 60 in there. Nah, I wasn't listening. I was concentrating on driving. Figured I'd want to get back here. And I just got in, gonna get something to eat. Gonna go get some rest and do some more radio work tomorrow. Okay, check in my Golden Beagle. And I think, did Cliff check in tonight?
Cliff checked in tonight. He was on the Viking, Whiteface, E.F. Johnson, sounding good. Put on a couple of different microphoniums, and he got the standard mic and the ice cream cone microphone. All sound good.
Okay, well, that's good. Hopefully he mentioned what other radios he still has for sale, because I'm tired. I don't have time to this week, but I'll be back next week. Okay, Dennis, you take it easy. And from what I heard for 5 minutes, good show. Okay, take care. We will catch you next week.
Well, it's always a good show when I stop talking and the radios come to the fore like they're doing now. Anyone listening or watching, the radio that you are listening to is a Golden Eagle by Browning. That's what Harvey's got. the first of the Browning Laboratories to be a golden eagle with the flying eagle across the speaker of the receiver, and the radio that was marked before the Mark II. So this was the R68 T68. There was a Series 1 and Series 2, about $400. Sort of the last of the affordable Brownings, maybe? I don't know. The Browning Golden Eagle Series 2 transmitter had the lighted on the air light rather than the spotlight. It had a optional wood cabinet and an optional bass speaker that you could add both of those for about $60 back in 1967 and 68. Sounding good here in 2026. Thanks, Harvey. Go get the Ovaltine and a piece of toast, and we'll talk to you next time.
Okay, and Ovaltine for you also. Alrighty, we will catch you next week. Take care. We'll be out.
The Old Tube Radio Network. Who's coming up? Joe. Don't go away, Joe. The Old Tube Radio Network. The jingle singers want to say something.
Thanks for stopping by.
All right. Well, if it's short but sweet. Hello, Joe. Are you still out there? Over.
Oh, we're here, Dennis. Doggone it. I wanted to get this one in before the night got away from us. Mustang 2, Dennis, from Metrotech. My little 7 tubes in horizontal position. My radio knobs in order. The channel knob, the tune knob, the volume, and the squelch in horizontal position with my meters in vertical position.
Yes, I got a great shot. Thanks to Robert in Madera. It took us a while took me a while to actually get set up to grab the picture. Let me go to the full page. Beautiful radio, the Mustang 2. Metrotech made a lot of affordable radios. They always sounded good, and I'm surprised at how kind of, I don't know, stealthy they were back then, but a lot of these radios are around. So that's a good testament that they put them together. And as you might already tell, this sort of has that look and flavor of the World Radio Labs as well. Over.
Yeah, they would go side by side. Nice looking pair of radios. And this one, of course, thanks to Kenny in Oklahoma. Doggone it. Hello, Kenny. Hi, Marsha. Love you both. Thanks to Kenny there, he made it all possible for me to be talking on the Metrotech.
And he checked in earlier today from Tulsa. Said hello to everybody. I'm not sure if he misses Fresno when it's 90 degrees in March, but I know he misses hanging out here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Like the S meter, you've got your channel, looks like 8 channels. You've got a crystal control socket. You've got the tuner. That tuner looks a little bit touchy for the receive. Over.
It is touchy. In fact, that's why most of the time I keep my hands off it.
You mean you just keep it on the Saturday night place to be?
That's it. It's nailed on there, Dennis. This is the only place that it has been and will be for the duration.
Well, no problem with that. Metrotech Mustang 2. These little guys, it's like, you're buying the Chevy Nova or the Ford Falcon. They were there to get you there. It was nice inside. Maybe it wasn't as plush as the Chrysler or the top-of-the-line Mercury, but it did its job. Over.
Oh, don't underestimate the little guy, Dennis. I remember one day on that freeway doing my business, doing a pretty good speed, and along came a Volkswagen, and it was a friend of mine, and he said, "I'll see you in Morro Bay."
What is the song Beep Beep about the little Nash Rambler? So don't underestimate that stuff. What time is it? Holy cow. They were pointing to their watch here. It's like, you guys need to wrap it up. But we're having so much fun. And if the radios want to check in, that's what we do. Thanks to the stations that are from near and far out that either join us really early on a Sunday morning or stay up late through Saturday night to join us on the Old Tube Radio Network. Again, I hope people can do something close to what we're doing here. Chicago, who's checking in? Chocolate City Cam, is that right? 95.25 Chocolate City, Chicago wants to check in. Well, thanks, Chicago. We're glad you're staying up late. I bet if I went to 40 meters and tuned into one of the SDRs, if the band was on, I might be able to hear you guys out there. Sometimes the band opens up. Here on 11 meters, not so. We're lucky to talk across the street. Thanks for radio number 8. Joe on the Metrotech Mustang 2. Over.
Well, thank you, and thanks once again to Kenny and all the listeners. Dennis, that might do it for us, unless you got room for another one.
I'm looking. I think we are ready for another radio before I sign up. What do you think, Jingle Singers?
It must be true, 'cause I heard it on the radio. It must be true, it must be true.
All right, well, we'll be standing by.
Dennis, if I can, it's running late, but I'd like to check in my messenger, the Johnson 223.
Messenger 223. Apropos, we started Radio 2 was the E.F. Johnson Viking Messenger. The 223 is the big brother of that. It's a lot of same parts inside. They made a Messenger 2 with had some updates. And then the 223, which you have, we'll grab a picture of it here, and then we'll go back to you, and then we'll take a look listen to Larry and see what he's got out there. So this was as good as it gets. It's nice and big. So if you like the Johnson Whiteface and you like the Johnson products and you have the radio in 1962, this is what you upgraded to in 1969 when it was brand new. Back to you.
Oh, I bet, doggone it. It was a nice radio then, and it still is a nice radio. It's my speed, Dennis. I like something that I can control. I don't have all the details on the gadgets because if I get to looking around too many places on the dashboard, I'm going to wreck. And this radio is just my speed. I put it in gear and I drive. Dennis, 10 tubes, all transistors on the original desk mic. I hope it sounds okay.
It sounds marvelous. Let's see how they're getting it over in the Larry.
On the dashboard, I'm going to wreck. And this radio is just my speed. I put it in gear. And
Wow, look at that. Nice.
Dennis, 10 tubes.
Right on frequency.
Transistors on the original.
Also looks like your bandwidth, maybe 7K, 8K on the AM.
It sounds marvelous. Let's see how they're getting it over.
So no problem with that. It's a keeper, I hope.
Oh, it's definitely a keeper there, Dennis. Doggone it. Good friend, old Louie. You remember old Louie, number 93, the original one. Louie, he made it all possible, calling me and telling me that he had something of interest in, which was this sitting in the back of his trunk. And he was good enough to give it to me before he drove off into the wild blue yonders, I guess to Oregon or wherever he ended up. But thanks to Louie, he made it all possible, and this is forever keep.
Well, I'm glad it's here. We're really appreciative for everybody that takes time out of their Saturday evening schedule to jump by and put on a radio. That's why we're here, as many as we can get. We're talking about the bands in the 70s and 80s being filled up. When we started OTR, there were still a lot of, and you remember, Joe, it wasn't just Channel 38 and Channel 11 on Saturday. You had to turn the dial to find a spot to talk sometimes.
Oh boy, I tell you, did I turn the dial. I remember the fellows on 14, the Zoo Crew, Fresno Dude and the Gang, the Dirty Dozens. Boy, I'm telling you, there was plenty to do in those days, Dennis. And I was glad to be part of the Fresno Dudes, also part of the Dirty Dozens. And I think there was one other, I can't recall his name, Country Kid, I think. Maybe you know him.
Boy, there were so many handles back in the day. I've got a chart when we had the OTR picnic. Some of the people that signed in, and I'm looking and thinking, oh, man, I remember that. I remember her. I remember him. So good stuff. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for your radios tonight. We'll go ahead and sign out. Thank everybody who's listening, staying up late with us tonight. Maybe they're watching the replay. Maybe we've covered somebody's radio, and I know we have because people have talked about it like that. Yeah, that was my first radio I ever had, or I have one of those right now, or I'm in the process of refurbing one of those. It's on the workbench and placing some capacitors, or maybe inspiring someone to start a collection. You know, a collection of one. When it comes to an old tube radio, it's not a bad thing because they look so good just sitting there. So thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you all.
All right, anybody else for the old tube radio network before we, what was the colloquialism, before we tie the ribbons on it?
Break OTR.
We're still here. Break OTR, go ahead over.
Yeah, I got a message that was a station from Washington waving a hand, so I did hear them.
All right, good. And thanks for those, the people out there that had the good receivers. I could tell they were jumping in for the old tube radio network, and I was kind of hoping that we would have some of the short E-skip. It's a summer thing. It's coming up. The air quality, I don't know, what would we call it? The ionosphere is going to change a little bit, and it's usually not affected by bad solar numbers or SFI. So we're looking forward to that in talking to our good friends up in northern Idaho, and who's the other guy? 709, and whoever else might get in there and take a shot. And it'd be nice to have some of the sporadic E, I think, or the ducting, where we're hearing the guys in Riverside or Northern Cal. So it's all coming up this summer. We've got a lot of great stations like yourself that are working on their antennas so that we can hear everybody and get back to them. So thanks for the 10-5 on that.
Yeah, that was interesting to me. They heard Chowchilla, and I heard the station out of Washington. That's it's got to have something to do with height and takeoff angle and all that good stuff. All right, I'll get on the side and let you get back at it.
Okay, we're going to sign out here. I want to say hello to, was our first time listeners, Victor, 4943. The old tube radio network. We started on the air, just, radio to radio back in 1986. We've been doing this. This is our 40th year, and as the 21st century pops up upon you, here comes video streaming and YouTube, and so we sort of added, the cameras here into the shack. There have been many net controllers. I'm just one of them. There have been many radios throughout the Saturdays. So we're from 8 to 10 p.m., and that's Pacific time, Pacific Daylight Time at the moment. You can catch us at oldtuberadio.net during the week, oldtuberadio.com, and then live here at the program, The Net, from Central California. And like we were just discussing, you never know when the conditions might be coming in. Typically, we don't get the daytime skip, but if we do, we'll pick you up. Don't have to have a tube radio to come in and say hello. You don't have to be on any list. We enjoy hearing from people what they're doing, the radios they are using, or what they might do, when it comes to radios. Old Radio Night, JT, we link up with them in the Wasama Swamps, and who knows, maybe you'll be able to do something like that. We link up to a 2-meter repeater, Echo Link for some of our other stations. And, let's do it right before we sign off. Let me see if I can get Nick out of Greece. Nick, if you're listening on the Echo Link, take a transmission before we sign out here. I just want to let people know we've got stations listening from all over, and we're glad that they're around. So over to you, VA3 FSC from KB6GFD. See if Nick has his Echo Link up. Oh, no, he probably don't have a good connection. Anyway, anybody else before we sign out? There he is.
I'm so sorry about that.
All right.
I don't know what happened. I got disconnected. Let me say hello to everybody. Hello, Dennis, and all the other gang over there. Yes, we are from Greece, but we are transmitting from Toronto, Canada. So, And yeah, there was a 10-second delay. I counted the delay there, the time. So yeah, good stuff. Before you go, I just wanted to jump in and say hello to everybody. For Kilo Bravo 6, Golf Foxtrot Delta, Victor Alpha 3, Foxtrot Sierra Charlie.
All right, good to hear you from up in the north. Always good audio on the Echo Link. And looking forward to maybe trying to catch you on one of the other frequencies. A lot of us who are on 11 meters are also ham radio operators at one time or another. And so, as always, and I know you're up for this, we're encouraging anybody that is really into radio to do the upgrade, if you will, and work on your ham radio license. It's something you can have. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. When the bands are busy here on 11 meters, it's always nice to have another playground to jump into, whether it's digital modes or voice or CW. It's a fun thing. So thanks for joining us, Nick. Always good to hear you. And the old Tube Radio Network, we're glowing in the dark. Thanks. 73.
QSL 73 to everybody, and always try to promote both sides of the radio, the ham radio and the CB radio. Anyway, thanks again, 73. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you.
I'm lost without my jingle singer. So they got one last thing. Is this the bye-bye? I'm not sure. You guys take it away. Or not. Okay, they're not doing anything.
We are sorry.
We're sorry for sure.
Sorry. We'll never do it again.
Well, I hope not. Let's. We need a little something to give our radios here. There we go. Tonight. Well, this is good. I can go with this. 21 check-ins on page 1, 26 on page 2, 19 on page 3, 23 on page 4, and radios tonight. There were 9 of them. What was the most heard manufacturer? I think it was E.F. Johnson. We had a Tram PR27E from SWL 56. Thank you, Phil. The E.F. Johnson Messenger Whiteface from Cliff Green Era 135, and that radio is for sale. The T-Berry Model T was radio number 3 from 1017, and that's on the simulcast at Radio Lifer. Look for that. The WRL Hustler, Joe, thanks for radio number 4. And is that it? Okay, good enough. The DAC Mark 9 out of Sanger, big radio, big sound, Lafayette Comstat 25B. How many had a Lafayette? I mean, that Lafayette catalog rivaled Radio Shack. And so if you had a radio, it's probably was going to, and a tube radio, it's probably going to be a Lafayette. Thanks, Phil, for that. The Metrotech Mustang 2, affordable and workable. Still sounding good in 2026. Joe had that one. Harvey with the Browning Golden Beagle. Thanks for, I know, Harvey, it's been a long day. Thanks for jumping in. We appreciate that. You had the radio all ready to go. And the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, their final tube radio, 1969, 70, 71. And at that time, they were already putting out the mobile devices, the 323 and the 123, but the 223, the good old Tube 223 is a workhorse, and so they didn't get rid of it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. The old Tube Radio Network. Do something when you can on the radio. The bands have been not great for DX, but that doesn't mean you can't talk down the road a piece and wait for some conditions to happen. 72 plus 1 if you like to do the math, and we'll be back next week.
Thank you for what you do, Dennis, from the Radio Lifer crew. And looking forward and excited already to check in next Saturday.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, Dennis.
As they used to say, same tube time, same tube channel. Yeah, Edgar F. Was the number one manufacturer tonight.
Yeah.
Started in 1923.
Go Johnson.
And we don't forget Ethel, another E, they helped out. A mail order business, believe it or not. And boy, the band was quite a night. Washington, if you're watching the replay or listening in, try it again next week. Alpha Zulu Zulu, we'll look for you on the air. Yankee November Charlie, also likewise. It was good to see YL tonight. Boy, I really thought I had. And I was looking for the downloadable audio before I go. It's like, you know where something is on your computer, and then for some reason it's no longer there. How does that happen? These tube radio guys, they had to figure out how to run a computer.
Here's a cool little fact for you. Russia still uses vacuum tubes in their avionics on their aircraft.
I guess if they fit, right?
Well, during an EMP, their aircraft won't fall out of the sky. Their electronics will still work.
So that didn't help. So another few other.
All right, here it is. I found it. I wish I could have found this earlier. This is, and she was in tonight. This was the contact, I think it was on 40 meters of the YL. Here it is. Listen to this audio.
That didn't help. So another few other little things, of course. But hey, you sound great here in Southern California. Pleasure to get you in my log. I'm so happy.
You've got many more good signals coming into Central California. I've got to put some more audio gain, and my Vox is not clipping in here. So continue on. Thanks for picking me up, and we'll look for you on Saturday evenings. Over.
Thank you so much, my friend Dennis 73, and enjoy your live streams. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, 73 from Fresno, Kilowatt Bravo 6, German.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was on 40 meters. It's like, I recognize that voice, and so it's always nice to talk to somebody who's on the chat. All right, 73, everybody, from the Old Tube Radio Network.